Hello, everybody, and welcome to coverage of the Fall Brawl semifinals. We have a mono blue Stiflenought mirror match coming up, so lots of Dreadnoughts will be in play. I'm Michael Hoyp. I'm joined today by Lester Smerling. How's it going, Lester?
Good. How about you?
I'm doing good. I just got done doing a little bit of casting for the Premodern Italian Championship. They were doing their Swiss rounds. I did round 5 and 6. So did a little bit of Premodern in the morning, and now I'll do a little Premodern in the later morning. Um,
Nice.
so okay, let's look at our players real quick, and then we'll move on to the decks. There's not too many differences about these decks, given that it's a mirror match. But Christopher Budesheim from Darmstadt, Germany, with a 7-run record, was the second seed. His mono blue Stiflenought, he likes it pretty well rounded against a lot of the matchups because of all the counter magic. Says it struggles to fast combo, and his Null Rod and Cursed Totem were his MVPs for this tournament. And then take a look briefly at Sven Lutz, also from Germany. He's in Berlin. He finished the third seed. He likes his matchups against Sly and Durdley decks, but struggles against the Cabal Therapy, able to strip out the hand of the Stiflenought players. And Annul was his MVP, which that one I can see coming in.
Yep.
So let's just take a quick look at these decks. And they're going to be very similar, as the mono blue Stiflenought has kind of a very core consisting package. That core would be Phyrexian Dreadnought combined with Stifle or Vision Charm, and then there's going to be a lot of counter magic and card draw. There's Dazes and Gushes and foils and Counterspells. Those are all normal. And then there's some impulses, importance, and ops to help you find stuff. There's a few one-ofs. We're looking at Christopher's list here. There's Intuition, Misdirection, Boomerang, and I think it's a Reality Ripple.
Which is another Vision Charm or Stifle
Yep.
effect.
So, and then we'll take a quick look at the other list. So Sven has all those same core cards, and then Intuition, Boomerang, Force Spike, and Disrupt. So some cheap counter spells that might Christopher might respect or not. We'll see how those come into play. But basically, the decks are very similar. Um, so
Yeah, roughly 58 card main deck difference. Yep.
I don't know if I've ever seen like a Stiflenought mirror, so I don't know exactly how. I mean, like
Same.
once a Dreadnought's in play, it's pretty likely to stay in play because there's only a card like Boomerang or whatnot. But then it's also possible that both players both resolve a Dreadnought, and then it's kind of like, do you want to trade off and then kind of rebuild from there? That'll be the interesting point. I don't know how that will work.
Well, you can Vision Charm the other person's to like sneak through damage, right?
Sure, if you block, that is a very interesting trick that like because it does have trample, so
Yep.
they declare the blocker they want to block, and then you can Vision Charm and and then deal 12. So that actually is an interesting point of interaction there. But
Yeah, the Vision Charm, the Reality Ripple, you can technically sneak damage through if you have more of those in the opponent.
okay,
So we'll see what happens.
all right, I'm ready to jump down to the match and see where we're at. Does that sound good?
Yep.
All right, if you want to let our players know that we can begin. Chris, as the higher seed, has chosen to play first. He's on the left. So. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if like the players take like a different approach, or if sideboards come into play. I didn't look to see exactly how their sideboards are set up, if one will have an advantage, but
Well, one person has a null and the other one doesn't.
okay.
However, I don't know how good a null actually is. Oh, they both have a null actually. Never mind.
All right. Well, I mean, most of the fighting would be like trying to resolve a dreadnought, so I feel like a null is fine. So I guess even having too many, because you can just target the dreadnought multiple times. I guess the one disadvantage is like you don't get that 2-for-1. Because if you just counter the dreadnought, then they keep the Stifle or the Vision Charm in their hand.
We're gonna see the first disrupt. Yep.
All right.
MVP right there.
I mean, that's got to be a good feeling, right? If you get your disrupt off and countered an impulse. So
Disrupt has one Pro Tours, so you know that's an MVP as a one of.
yeah, countering the drain lives back in the day.
I think it's really key to like to counter the card draw too there, because both players are gonna be just digging for dreadnoughts. You only have 4 dreadnoughts.
Yeah. Well, and both players have so many counter spells. Like if the game goes to the mid to late game, you have to imagine that their hand is just going to be chock full of counter
Chock full,
spells. So
yeah.
it's like it's pretty hard to resolve for either player.
Yep.
It'll be interesting to see like how typically we see Gush as a card that's cast really quickly, and we'll see if players have to kind of hold their Gushes to play like in the late game, because I think this is a matchup where you actually want to hit like your land drops, like get up to like 5 or 6 mana, because if you do get to the point of where you're fighting a counter war, you probably want that extra mana.
Well, Sven almost dazed the Gush there with 2 mana floating, then he caught himself. So we know he's got a daze at least.
Okay.
Chris probably has to discard here, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised after picking up 4 cards.
Maybe not.
What's that island at the top there floating about?
I think he's got 1 island as a revealed card and 1 island in play.
Oh, okay.
Just trading impulses. This is like old Drago right now.
Yeah, the difference is like usually in the draw go decks, those have like 26 lands. These players
Yeah,
only have
yeah.
like 16 or 17, so they're
Yeah.
hitting those land drops is much more of a rarity, I guess. It's not a given with like those old control decks. How aggressively do you think you would mulligan in these like pre-sideboarded games? Do you think if there you can, because it's there's no guarantee that you're going to be able to resolve the combo, because they could have counterspell, they could have foil, and then Daze might come into play if you're a mana short on mana. So do you think you just keep like a defensive hand, or like what do you think they were looking for in their opening 7?
I think you're just looking for lands.
Okay.
That's what I think. Lands and ways to get lands.
Yeah, as long as your hand isn't just like a bunch of do nothings. Like I can see if you have a bunch of like card draw, then you're like, maybe I would mulligan this because it is just vulnerable to a quick dreadnought. But I mean, you could almost bluff it because I don't know. Would you just run out a dreadnought in if you were like don't have any counter magic your protection yourself? Like I think you kind of have to wait. So you probably have the luxury of time.
You
So
only have 4 dreadnoughts.
yeah.
It's not like you have, and you don't have a way to get them back at all.
Yeah.
So I think you have to wait on these.
Do you think we'll see any of these 5 games go to decking?
Oh, that'd be a good question.
How
good would Grindstone be as a sideboard card?
Yeah. There are a lot of blue cards, so.
Yep. You just side out your dreadnoughts and just go to with a mill strategy. That'd be next month.
Yeah, I'd be like, I guess if this deck was that popular. Grindstone was from what set was it from? Tempest. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, but then the Vision Charms actually might get turned into Mill 4s at some point too, as well.
That's true too.
That would be exciting. But so Vision Charm. Okay, we see Sven going for a Dreadnought here. He's got the Vision Charm, so he's got 2 available mana. So he's representing like a counter spell. And Chris is going to counter the Vision Charm.
Now Chris has no 1 mana counters. He only has dazes and foils.
He has a misdirection, right? That's
yes. Okay. He does have that too. Whereas Sven still has a Force Spike in the deck. And we know he's holding Daze.
Yeah, this will be a nice game that I don't have to update the life totals very often, because it's right. Like there's no fetch lands, there's no other creatures. Yeah. It's just, they just either take 12 or don't take 12. I don't think there's any way to change that math. I think it like yeah, Vision Charm would be the only thing, so it's either 12 or 0 or so. have a Daze being cast into open mana. So is this opening up for
Second Daze.
a second Daze?
He does have a mana advantage when he's going for this combo here. Boop.
Yeah, and that's probably in part due to Chris's early Gush
Gosh.
that he
Yep.
picked up 2 lands. And so I guess there is a little bit of danger of if you're countering the Vision Charm, because there are like 8 copies of Stifle and Vision Charm, that they might have a backup Stifle, and so okay, my Vision Charm gets countered. Now I'm going to use the other copy that I have. But we have a foil out of Chris. He's going to discard an island and a Stifle.
Now, can you stifle the phasing coming back in? Is that something you can
I
stifle?
don't think it's a trigger. I don't think so. I think it just like happens, but I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it's just something that happens.
Phasing and banding are two things that I just don't understand.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. If you play a banding card against me, I'm just gonna believe anything you say.
I think the short of banding is when you attack in a band, you can all the creatures have to have banding less 1, so they're going to be 1 non-bander. And if I attack in a band and you block, I get to assign how you distribute damage, like on which creatures and which way it goes. And the same thing like for blocking, but any number of non-banders I think can be in a band on blocking. Okay. Back to the game.
Trade back foils.
Yep, foil. This one's discarding. Was it discarding
Dreadnought,
Dreadnought?
an island, and Stifle an island got pitched. So we're gonna get the 12/12 into play here.
Okay, so the Dreadnought is phased out. But it's interesting to see that. I mean, like, if Sven's pretty confident that this Dreadnought's going to go the distance, then that's fine. But, like, if Chris is able to resolve a Dreadnought here, then Sven is already down another Dreadnought because he discarded it to a foil.
Right.
But that could be consequential if the game does go more than 2 more turns.
I think leading off of the Portent kind of shows you that he doesn't have an
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah, it's got to be, right? Because you're not going to see that card until the next turn.
Yeah.
Unless he's, like, the only thing he could be finding is something like a Boomerang.
All right, we're gonna get a quick attack here. So turn has passed. Chris gets to draw a card. Yep.
All right.
He hit it.
There is a Boomerang, okay, but there is a Counterspell
Alright.
available. And with Chris is tapped out, so the only options would be
Daze or foil.
or the 1 Misdirection, which is unlikely because it probably would have been used in a previous turn. And so, yep, that gets countered. And I mean, I think that almost barring Chris able to like or like make his own Dreadnought, I think that means that he will be done.
I don't know if I like the Boomerang there. You're just kind of boomeranging into an open mana.
Well, the thing is, like, if you don't have other cards to protect it, then like you untapping and have 1 extra mana, then yeah, I guess that would be the advantage. Is like try and do it on your turn.
Yep.
But because it's unlikely that Sven is going to use any of his mana. Okay, he's going to use a Vision Charm to save some life. So.
Yep. I don't think with the deck. I think the only other option he has now is to cast his own Dreadnought, right?
Yeah, I think so.
That's a man that found his Dreadnought right there.
There's a Gush. How many cards does Sven have?
I think he's got 2, maybe 3.
Okay.
kind of surprised these decks don't play Thwart.
Well, I think because I thought about that, but I think it's because, especially if you use Gush early and like you're trying to end the game so quickly, there's probably games that you just don't even have 3 islands in play.
I guess, yeah.
Maybe you play like one, but like so many, like we should count this in this match. Like how often do players have 3 islands in play? It probably is not that much. So as Chris slams down some more islands, yep. So he gets taken out by the resolved Dreadnought that Sven mustered. So Sven is up a game. We'll play our second game without sideboard, and then after game 2, we'll be looking at the extra 15 cards to see if that changes things. But the original 60 is what the players have to stay with for this next game.
So interesting that Sven did less pure card draw there than Chris did, but he had the combo and the counters.
I mean, it's probably just kind of a luck of the draw. I mean, like
Yep.
maybe there's something like I'm overlooking, but I guess if we talk to the players, I would think that they would just say this matchup just kind of comes down to like how well you draw. Like sometimes you have just a strong hand that you have the combo and you have ways to protect it, and you're feeling confident and you can go for it. And other times you just have to spend all your resources digging for a piece or trying to get more counter magic and you don't find it. So
There's also just drawing the wrong half of your deck too. Just drawing all of your Vision Charms and Stifles
mhm.
and no Dreadnoughts, while the other person draws all Counterspells or all card draw. So I mean, Vision Charm and Stifle are pretty much dead in this draw, other than the combo.
Yep.
There's not much you can't even stifle like their fetch lands or anything like that here.
Yeah. Uh, you could stifle a Portent trigger, draw trigger.
Ooh, that's a good one.
We'll see if that ever comes up. I feel like if the game's coming to that, it's probably because um, the player has it like locked down and they need that last card as a last bit of hope. But do you think being on the play is significant in this match, or
I think you want to be on the draw.
really?
I think so. I think the extra card matters.
Okay. Um, I don't know if I would go that far, but I mean, like, this is a match where it feels like it doesn't matter that much to be on the play. So maybe that means that you want to be on the draw. We'll see if either player, because I know Chris chose to play first for the first game. We'll see if any decisions, if any of the players choose to be on the draw later. I would think on the sideboarded games, like maybe having a null, maybe being on the play might be an advantage, but I don't know. Do you think Dazes get cut in the sideboarded games? Like,
I don't think they get cut.
just because it's some form of interaction that you don't have to pay mana for? Because it's just something like if the game goes kind of long, they kind of lose their efficiency. So
both these guys gushing away their lands,
yeah,
then yeah, it's not like a traditional match where your lands are going to just stick around. Like these guys are picking them up and
yeah.
they're making use of them, pitching them to foils, and they don't usually have that many sticking around. I'd be surprised if a null actually comes in. I don't think a null's good.
You don't think it's good at all? Like you wouldn't bring in like a couple copies?
I don't think so. I think Boomerang's much better.
Okay.
Because there's literally 4 targets for a null. Like, it's not like...
Yeah, and you already do have like counter magic to fight that turn.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, I guess Boomerang does seem better.
I don't think you actually want to fight the Dreadnought, too, because you want to get the 2-for-1.
Well, I guess it basically does the same thing, right? Like Boomerang's basically counter target resolved Dreadnought.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess it puts it back in their hand. It doesn't.
Or return land to target player's hand if they're behind.
Yeah.
We could see some shenanigans here.
Yes.
It's always a great feeling. You lose game 1 and then they mulligan.
Yeah.
It's like karma just evened it out for you.
Doing its best to try and even the
Yep.
scales. All right, Chris, we'll start with a Portent. The 3 cards will stay, and he'll
Okay.
draw a card. All right, we're going for a turn 2 Dreadnought, so this might be where Chris has foils or dazes or something to protect it. We have a daze from Sven, and there is a foil, discarding Vision Charm and Island. Okay. Is there another response for Sven? I mean, I don't. It would have to be. Oh, it's a foil of his own.
Go back. And he's got that mana floating, so he's protected from Daze.
Yep.
Boom.
Yeah, so that discards the island and another daze. I guess I was say like, why didn't he just daze there? But he had already picked up his island, so.
Yep.
All right. Well, I mean that made sense that Chris went there. He was a turn 2 and he had a protection, but Sven had 2 ways to prevent it. So Chris is looking to rebuild. He's going to start with a Portent again.
I mean, with casting foils too, Sven might be out of lands. I mean, there's a possibility that you can't keep more than one land in that situation.
Yeah, I mean
Especially after a
he
mulligan.
discarded an island to the foil, so
Yep.
you have to. Um, but yeah, if Sven's able to assemble like a Dreadnought plus a Stifle, I have to think that he's in pretty good shape because it seems like a lot of Chris's resources went into that second turn.
He keeps it.
All right. So Chris has 2 cards in hand after that Portent. Sven has cast an Opt to find another card. Yeah, I mean, I guess this deck like could have a transformative sideboard, but I don't know. I feel like its matchups are just there's no like bad matchup that it's really worth kind of dedicating all those sideboard cards. I think the deck does fine against enough matches that it's probably not worth dedicating that many sideboard slots. I try to think like what card do you think would be the most impactful in the mirror? Dominate, maybe?
Dominate would be pretty good.
I mean, I guess it costs 4 mana, right? To
Yeah, I mean, Unsummon would be good too.
yeah, or like seal of removal.
Yep.
So I guess that one could be stifled, but you being able to save a mana might, I guess unsummoned would be fine. All right, Sven's got a Dreadnought now. It was Vision Charmed out, and Chris has taken 8, so he's gonna try for a Portent, and
Important for an upkeep Boomerang, maybe.
yeah, but I don't even know if he has another island. It would have to be like a Vision Charm, and then draw a Boomerang.
Nope.
Nope. Doesn't have anything, so. Oh, yeah, Gilded Drake. Gilded Drake would be a good one.
That's a good one.
Though it's kind of funny, like those
What about
that
just Waterfront Bouncer?
yeah, that actually could be. That actually almost seems better than Gilded Drake because like Gilded Drake just could be stifled once and then like, then you're kind of. I guess I mean like I guess if you get your Waterfront Pouncer, I guess you can preemptively play the Waterfront Pouncer though. That's the big
Yeah.
difference. Like the Gilded Drake, you have to wait, and it could just get stifled once, and then you just would probably die. But the Waterfront Pouncer, you could run out front first and kind of have protection.
Okay, let's look at sideboards quick.
Okay, let's jump over
I don't
there.
think Winter Orbs are coming in.
No. I am looking at Sven's sideboard. There are 4 Annuls, a Null Rod, 2 Cursed Totems, 2 Winter Orbs, 2 Hydroblast, 2 Blue Elemental Blasts, a Boomerang, and a Misdirection. I like those last 2 cards.
That's
And
what I think comes in.
you're thinking no Annuls. So what? So get rid of Intuition,
Yeah, I think Intuition comes out for sure.
and then
And then I actually think maybe a Gush comes out. Maybe Daze.
I would say Force Spike.
I think Force Spike is great.
Better than you think it's better than Daze?
I think it's better than Daze, yeah.
I don't think so. But I would take out Intuition and Force Spike. So you would take out Intuition and Gush.
If you're fighting their
Or
card draw
Intuition
early
and
on,
Daze.
then Daze is setting you back a turn, or Force Spike isn't.
Yeah, a turn doesn't matter that much because it's like, I don't know, you don't need that much to fight. But
Fair.
I could see it. I see your argument. That makes some sense. So.
I think Chris brings in Boomerang and Powder Keg.
Okay. Yeah, I'm having trouble seeing the exact list. Let me see if I can find a text list.
It's the same exact list. He just has a Reality Ripple and Misdirection already in instead of Force Spike and Disrupt.
Okay.
He has 3 Annul Boomerang.
3 Annul, 1 Blue Elemental Blast, 1 Boomerang, 2 Cursed Totem, 3 Hydroblast, 2 Null Rod, 1 Powder Keg, 2 Winter Orb. So Boomerang and Powder Keg seem good.
It's funny that like the Stifles just mess up so much stuff in this deck.
Yeah, like all the important cards, like all the ways to fight the Dreadnought, like the
Powder Keg just stifle that.
Mm-hmm.
You can Vision Charm. Can you Vision Charm a Powder Keg? I think you can, right?
You could also Vision Charm your Dreadnought, like when they activate the. That's probably the better line. All right, so with Sven up 2 games, Chris is in a tough spot to, like, I mean, it doesn't seem like there's really any way to get an edge in this match. So things just are going to have to break his way, I think, if he wants to take this match. I think basically I think just everything kind of has to go right for him. I don't think there's much that he can control.
How often do you think you hard cast a foil in this deck?
We saw it in the other semifinals against Parfait Oath, but probably not very often. I kind of love the card foil. It feels just like
It's so good.
I mean, it like obviously is powerful, but then also is like fair. Like it is a real cost to discard 2 cards, and one of them has to be an island. So it's just cool that like when you make a deck that, I mean, this deck just seems like it takes advantage of foil so well because like obviously if you want to protect something, a 12/12 Trampler seems worth protecting. You're going to end the game quickly, so that card disadvantage that you've used doesn't really come into play because you're going to end the game.
And you're discarding them instead of remove from game, which is a little bit different too sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes you can use it to your advantage. Like Force Tool is just so unfair.
Chris is going to start with an opt. I'll put the card on top. Were you able to watch any of the Parfait Oath against the Mono Blue Stiflenought?
No.
Okay. So, well, the Parfait Oath was able to advance. So, Rich Shea in his Parfait Oath knows that he's going to be playing against a Mono Blue Stiflenought list again. He's not sure which player he'll be playing. It'll either be Sven or Chris. But right now, it looks like the edge is to Sven. But it was a very close match. So, I think Rich actually does not think he's favored. So.
Well, open up a Shard Phoenix can't have a good feeling.
Yeah, the Oath of Druids against the Dreadnought. It's like one time where it's like, yeah, you can Oath, that's fine. I don't mind. My 12/12 is better than what you're getting, so.
Right. He does not play Weaver, right?
No, his
Okay.
targets were the Shard Phoenix and
Ancestors chosen.
Ancestors Chosen that are in the main, and he had an Acroma out of the sideboard and Meddling Mages. So,
Okay.
all right.
Portent. How great do you think Magic would still be if everything was a slow draw instead of a cantrip?
Like just in general, like are you just talking about
Yeah.
like, well, in modern day Magic, like the game is just very different.
Right.
I
If they
mean,
had reverted back to that, like opt and everything, that was just next upkeep.
oh yeah, I don't think those cards would get played in modern day Magic anyways. Like the cards are just so efficient on their own that it's just better to have like they don't have like smoothing cards. Like I like is
No,
Impulse even like good in standard? Maybe it is.
no,
I don't know.
I don't. I don't play standard, but yeah, I think there's probably a creature that just impulses and gives you like a 4/4 or something.
Yeah, just the
Probably
game
something like
is just
that.
different. That like these older games, like you spend a lot more time looking for certain cards or setting up certain positions, and the
Yep.
modern day is a lot more about having a board presence for the most part.
I think Chapin once described it as battle cruiser magic. You
Sure.
just cast your battle cruisers and just try to get by their battle cruiser.
Is would a Phyrexian Dreadnought count as a battle cruiser?
I think so.
Though I mean you have to work a little bit for this battle cruiser. So
That's true.
do you like the Dreadnought decks? Like, is this a style of a deck that you would pick up and play, or
I think it's just so dependent. If Swords of Plowshare wasn't in the format, it might be a deck that I think has a bigger edge. I'm kind of surprised that decks like this or Reanimators survive when Swords is around. Maybe there's just not enough Swords decks. Maybe.
well, I mean, one thing is if you only have like four swords, you have plenty of counter magic.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just used that the swords decks also have some amount of disenchants as well. So it's kind
Yeah.
of like a there's just too many things to deal with, and then a lot of those decks have like counter magic or something else. So, but I don't know. It's just like when you're able to play the threat so early because it only costs like 2 mana, and then if you protect it once, like it's not like every opponent can have multiple answers, and if you just answer that first one, they only have 2 turns to live because a 12/12 is huge. So like that is one of the advantages I think of protecting the dreadnought is like if you're able to find an answer to their response, they just don't have much time, and that is very powerful. All right, we have Chris using
Gush.
a mid game gush. Like Sven has 4 lands, Chris had 3. Now he'll replay down to 2.
All right, we're gonna go for it.
All right, he's got a blue mana floating,
Going for it into 4 lands. Just oh, he did bring in a null.
has an annul.
Counterspell. Now the second battle.
Yeah, the annul fight has been won for Chris, and now
Yep.
he's taking a stifle. He's still got. No, I guess he's tapped out here. That island's in his hand.
Yep.
So now dazes and 4 spikes and oh, there's a gush from Sven. I guess that's indicating that he's got a weak hand, right? Unless he's just trying to set up for foil.
Yeah, maybe he doesn't have any other islands in hand. Yeah, there's definitely a foil.
Do you think it's in this match? Like, is it almost worse to like blink first and like go for the dreadnought, or like are you at a disadvantage?
I think it depends on your hand. If you don't really have a whole lot in your hand, maybe you just gotta go for it and hope.
Okay.
It's so scary to go against 4 open land there, though.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like it's probably better at some point, like if you have like multiple dreadnoughts and multiple stifles, to just to
Just go.
rather than discard like one of those, like maybe you just
Yeah.
need to draw some counter spells out from the opponent. But yeah, it probably does depend on like how much mana you have, how much mana they have. So
Now, like in this situation, if you're worried about if you have another copy, you did just reset the other player back from 4 lands to 3. They had to pitch a couple cards. You didn't lose too many resources if you got another set of the combo.
yeah, we did see a foil uh, from Sven. I guess that
Yep.
countered the stifle. I didn't see the other card that he had discarded.
I think you discarded Vision Charm.
Vision charm. Okay. Is there any other card that you can think of like in this mono blue list to give the deck like a different angle, like an alternate way to win, other than relying on drawing one of the 4 dreadnoughts?
Just save them for Vision Charm and deck them that way.
Yeah, I mean that. I mean, not necessarily this particular match. I mean, like in general, so that you, 'cause that's probably like the biggest weakness I feel like against the mono blue deck is you just have to find a dreadnought because you're not doing anything else. I mean, that's kind of true for any of the other lists, but I think some of the other like the blue white one has Enlightened Tutor to find the dreadnought, so they're like a
The
little
blue black one has Limdell's Vault.
yeah
Or, yeah.
Limbo's Vault. So that's I
Yep.
guess the other advantage, but that's probably one of the biggest downsides to the deck is you're just so dependent on those dreadnoughts. I can't think of like I don't know like boarding and morphling seems bad. That 5 mana seems
Yeah.
way too much. Um,
I agree with that. I'm kind of surprised they don't run back to basics. Maybe
yeah,
the 3 mana is just too much for them.
yeah, that almost seems like a way you could fight. Like instead of a Winter Orb, that's the card that you'd
You'd
use.
want. Yeah. It's almost like in some situations it's almost just better than stasis.
Sure.
It's just so one-sided. But they might just think that they're so fast that they don't need it too.
Yeah, yeah, it'd be interesting. Like what matches those the back to basics would be good.
Yeah.
All right, Sven is going to go for his Dreadnought. He's got a mana floating after he gushed, and now he'll cast his Dreadnought. All right, we got chat saying that there's some alt win conditions for the Dreadnought decks, and they might be revealed in the December monthly if they do well enough. So
Ooh.
keeping the tech close to their chest, that's fine. I respect that. Stifle
Sure.
is the card that gets countered from Chris, and then a second Stifle is cast for Sven. That one is also countered, and then Sven has a Vision Charm. So he had Stifle, Vision Charm, but he's tapped out. Does Chris have
And we get
a Daze?
Daze.
He does.
Ooh.
Does Sven have a Daze of his own?
He's got all those cards. He's got foil at least, I would think. I think these people just stole my grindstone tech. We run the grindstone dot deck.
Yeah, but that's only like good in the mirror. Like there's not a, like I want a win condition that I could maybe bring in like against other decks.
It's
So.
great against Sly.
Yeah, they're all red.
Yeah, grindstone you. Is that 2 fire blasts in graveyard? That's almost like a small win right there.
The moral victories.
When I played Blue White Millstone back in standard days, and we're gonna be gushing for some lands, I used to always make a point, like, because whatever they millstone does never matters. But I used to always make a point to like rub in that they just lost whatever it was. Like, oh, you're back on lands. Oh, there's 2 lands in your graveyard.
Yeah.
So now we're really looking for just foil here.
Yeah, I
For
mean,
Sven.
it could be that he's
He can't
picking
daze anymore.
picking up the islands. Yeah. Oh, okay. So this,
Oh, we're gonna fight the gush.
I think that
I
seems
like
fair.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
I like that.
In this spot, yeah, that makes sense. I like here the dreadnought. All right, now there's a foil.
Jeez.
Is that discarding 2 islands or
Yeah.
that was
Wait, can you do that?
Yep, it's an island and another card.
Oh, fair enough.
Did
Now
you?
he's back to no lands.
Yeah, but he's got a dreadnought, so
Yeah, we can just untap and boomerang that bad boy.
yeah, that would be I think what what Chris needs to do. But you
There's
can't.
some argument that maybe Snap is better than Boomerang in the mirror.
I mean, I think the overall, I think Boomerang, like hitting Aura of Silences or Seal of Cleansing, is just way more important. So, like, maybe specifically the mirror, but like it in general, I think you need Boomerang. And then, like, actually, like, bouncing lands probably comes into play too. Like, if you're playing against other blue decks that like are representing counter magic, you might just Boomerang a blue, and
Yep.
so that you're able to resolve your spells.
Seems to be a discussion about what's in the graveyards.
Yeah, they might just be calculating, saying like, okay, what resources have you used? So if this game goes forward, I'm able to kind of make the best decisions. Yeah, it's one of the harder things that, like, when you play webcam Magic, that you're not able to pick up your opponent's graveyard and just kind of analyze and register what has been used.
Okay, so we got a question here coming. Oh, did he play a land for the turn?
So he started with 4 mana. I don't think he has, right? Because he had 4 mana in play for a while, or did he?
Well, he had 4, then he went back to 2, then he went to 3. So I don't know, to be honest with you.
So you're saying he started this turn with 3?
I don't know. When he fought the other Dreadnought, he had 4, went down to 2, played a land to 3. And I thought this turn he started with 4 again.
Yeah, I cannot
But I'm not
remember.
100%. Maybe chat was paying better attention.
Yeah, I'm just looking to see. Um, I guess we could try and like go back and look at the VODs real quick. Let's see if that's an option. Um, let's see here. Yeah, Chad, if you have any input, I can't remember if he started this turn and had played a land. I'm really not sure at all. Yeah, because that could make a difference in how these turns play out if Sven's able
Yeah, it can
to
make a
play a land
huge
here.
difference. Also, how many cards are in his hand? He may have to discard too.
Yeah.
Are we able to go back or no?
I'm trying to do it on my phone. It's not working well. Let me do it out here. This might be easier. Um, let's see. I will pull this up. And if we go... All right. I am looking here. So this turn started... This is the same turn. Okay, there's 3 islands here. And then a 4th one was played. There was an impulse cast that was at end of turn, though. I think. From what I'm seeing, I think he started with 4 lands in play and has not played a land. Let me just double check. So we have, because there was an end of turn impulse, he untapped, he gushed, cast a Dreadnought, stifled it. That one was countered. Then that stifled. That one was countered. The Vision Charm, and then a Gush picked up the other two. No, I don't think he's played a land. That was my review. I don't think one has been played.
I let them know.
Okay. So thanks for sticking with us while we figured that out.
Land Portent.
All right. So the Portent is going to draw a card on Chris's turn. So Chris needs basically Boomerang, right? Or
Boomerang and his own Dreadnought.
Yeah, or his own Dreadnought.
Yeah.
All right, there's a Vision Charm. That's, I guess, the third best option. That will phase it out, so it saves Chris 12 life.
Do you think you do it there, or do you think you do it later on when you're already taking a hit? Do you think it matters?
The difference is like it's more likely to resolve from this spot because Sven has less mana and less cards, so I think it's fine to do it there. But yeah, given Chris's body language, it doesn't seem like he's in a good spot. He might have another Vision Charm here. Okay, he does.
Yep.
But this is only a temporary answer.
And I don't think you fight over the Vision Charms. I think you just let them happen.
No, yeah, like one turn is like, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, and yeah,
Looks
so
like he did draw the Dreadnought.
Dreadnought, but he had used all his Vision Charms, so
Yep.
yeah, the way the cards came out for Chris just didn't work, and Sven had a Boomerang at the ready, so yeah, Sven's able to take it down 3-0 for the semifinals. So Sven will advance to the finals up against Rich Shea. He's going to look to do what Alvaro could not and try and have his Mono Blue Stiflenought list beat the Parfait Oath list. So let's jump down and listen to the players, maybe get some insight on sideboarding or how they approach the matchup or how they feel like the best way to try and win is. So
Hello.
hi.
Hi.
All right. Well, I don't know what to take away in terms of like if there's really much you can do in this match, or just kind of like how the cards line up.
I hope you like islands,
Yeah.
islands, and again islands.
Yes, they. Well, we were thinking that like hitting your land drops early could be good because like it allows you to fight a counter fight, but I mean after a certain point you don't want any more.
Yeah,
So.
in game 1 and in game 3, I drew, I think, in 3 turns, like turn 4 to 6 or anything, but not at in front, but the later turns, I drew 3-4 islands in 2 games.
Okay.
And when I draw islands and he is doing stuff, it's you can't win that.
You know, the matchup is like you described, Mike. It's pretty. You can flip a coin as well before you play it. So it's just who starts, who has the one counter more, who draws the Dreadnought before the other one has it on play, and yeah.
Yeah, but
just go through the motions.
Sven played, like especially in game 2, Sven just played better. He did it very well. He baited me, and he was just a better player. That's like, yes, it's a coin flip, but you can play better and win with this, and he did.
Thanks. No, I mean, you're super good with the deck. I mean, for me, it was really sure that it was a 50-50. And I don't know, there's not that much to say about the matchup, I guess. It's just, there's the pre-Dreadnought phase where you just gather your hand, like always. And then there's when the Dreadnought is in play. I mean, the lines are pretty obvious. The only thing that is maybe interesting, I play 17 lands main deck, and I side out 2 islands game 2, just to really avoid getting flooded, I guess, because I thought I either win, either you land because you're on the play, either you land your Dreadnought really fast, and then I can't do anything, or I expected to go into a longer game, and then I just wanted to go down to 15 islands even. But that's everything.
Yeah, I think that's a better play. I should have sideboarded out 1 island more, maybe.
So this seems like a matchup where it almost seems like you want more threats. Like just having the 4 Dreadnoughts is kind of problematic. Are there any other cards that you can, or are there other matchups where that's a problem, do you think? Or is this pretty unique to just the mirror?
Against Sly, you want an early Dread.
Okay.
But I think in this mirror match now, Sven really knew when to play the Dreadnought. Like he wasn't the first one to play it. He was rather waiting for me to do a Dreadnought turn, doing stuff, and then I'm pretty much out of resources or have not that much resources left, and then he can do his turn. I think the patience is key.
Yeah, because the decks aren't set up very well to deal with a resolved Dreadnought. They're very good at preventing it from coming into play, but there's a couple boomerangs. Chris, you have a powder keg, but there's just not much you can do once it has resolved. Like you can vision charm it, but I don't think Sven's unhappy when you're vision charming his Dreadnought. So
no, it's I wish for a stasis there when I vision charm it, but I don't have it in my sideboard. Yeah. Was good. The better player won, and I hope Sven will continue to win the finals.
He got one more match. He's gonna be facing Rich Shea in the finals, so
would be nice.
Yeah, that will be an interesting match for sure.
Okay. Yeah. I don't really have anything else to add. As players, do you want to talk about anything or anything you want to say before we let you go?
Thanks for organizing. I will join the next time as well. It was a blast. My 8 win streak in a row has to end sometimes, and it's against Sven, and Sven is the best, and that's fine. Right. I will rooting for in the finals as a not as a player but as a spectator.
Okay, sounds good.
Thanks. Yeah, same. Thanks for organizing again, Mike, to you, and it's been a blast so far. Looking forward to the finals.
All right, yeah, we'll see Sven again up against Rocher when we figure out. We'll let you know when we schedule that match, where that works for both the players and me to do the coverage for that. So we'll let you know when we have that available. But all right, thanks, players. We're just gonna wrap things up, and we'll let you go.
Yes.
Thank you. Bye.
Good game. Bye.
All right, Lester. So we saw the mono blue Stiflenought mirror. And Sven came out 3-0. It seemed like, things just kind of lined up a little bit better for him. But and so
I don't think there's any major plays that they were talking. Like they were pretty humble.
Yeah.
But there didn't seem to be any major plays or any punts or anything like that. Just better draws. Maybe he had better timing though.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm surprised they both brought in Annul's though.
I mean,
I get it, but I'm kind of surprised they both brought them in.
I think it makes sense. I mean, like, I don't know. It's like a 1-mana counter that, like, I don't know. Obviously, it's very important to resolve a Dreadnought. So
yeah.
Like Portent, I like taking out Portents. I didn't think about taking out lands. I think that makes sense as well.
Yeah. Dropping on the 15 lands is scary, but when you have that much card draw, it probably.
And I think you expect the games to go to the mid to the late game, so you have a little bit of time. But we did talk about, like, you want to hit your initial land drops. Otherwise, you can kind of be caught bottlenecked in the early game. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if, like, this deck evolves to kind of consider the mirror match in mind, because I mean, like, we saw 3 in the top 8 here, and it's been doing well in other tournaments. So it'll be interesting to see if it kind of shifts to play the mirror, if there's different technologies, cards like Waterfront Bouncer or something else. So like, because that, like, having that would really change the dynamic. If you have 2 copies of that in the sideboard, then you're able to fight different fights, and it would be really interesting. So maybe some evolution might happen there. But with that, I think we can just wrap things up for today. Again, we will be we still have the finals for the Fall Brawl. It'll be Rich Shea against Sven Lutz, the Parfait Oath against the Mono Blue Stiflenought. We will keep you updated on when we're going to do that broadcast. But for now, just want to thank everyone who's able to tune in. I would recommend checking out coverage of the Premodern Italian National Championship on Jackie Brown MTG. I think they're doing their top 8 tomorrow. So that is a stream to watch, as they had like 109 players that are playing Premodern. So good size
That's huge.
paper tournament, and so pretty cool. And then the other thing that I'll talk about is the Midwest Premodern Championship at Misty Mountain in Madison, Wisconsin. I'll be doing coverage for that on December 10th. We'll be covering all the rounds, and then we'll be doing the top 8. So it'll be one day. It's a charity tournament, so a lot of the proceeds will be going to a local charity. And so we're going to have the opportunity for we'll have different raffles. So if you're not able to attend the tournament, you'll still be able to participate in the raffle and maybe win some cool Premodern prizes. But you can know that the raffle stuff will be going to a good cause. So something that might be fun as a viewer. But beyond that,
Very
yeah,
cool.
Thanks, Lester, for joining me.
Anytime.
And with the Mono Blue Stiflenought showdown. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right, but until next time, take care.
Have a great one.